I was at the physical therapist on Thursday, and Dave was working on a tendon knot in my shoulder, and I was laying there thinking, now how can I replicate this therapy at home? Additionally, I was thinking about, as the therapist, I imagine it's pretty demanding to work on the massage and to work different areas and put on a lot of pressure. So this invention that I came up with, or more like application, benefits both the patient at home and I would think the therapist. Now what I have here is a handheld air hammer. You can Google that, various brands. And just for demonstration purposes, this air hammer is capable, with the right bit, of drilling right through a concrete foundation. It's extremely powerful when you run it at full power and around 100 psi of air pressure. This one I've obviously put a blunt rubberized nose on it instead of a sharp cutting edge, and I'm running my compressor, regulating it down to about 50 psi, and then the little variable control on the tool itself, I've got it choked almost all the way down so that it hopefully will not cause any physical damage to the user. If used in the office environment, I've researched a few electric auto hammers, and they don't look very promising, even though they're much more portable and have a little bit less power. The ones I saw have a hammer cycle rate of around I think it's 3,000 plus hammers per second, or maybe it's 300. But it's still far too many to be comfortable. It'd be more like a buzzing, a high frequency intensive pressure on the sore tendon or muscle. This, as you'll be able to see, is nice and slow. You can modulate the pressure, and while it's a little bit noisy, you could get a smaller version of this, modify it for office use, and then you could put a compressor in a remote location and run an air line to the patient's table, and then it would be, I think, fairly usable for the therapist to give good treatment without too much effort. Typical compressor, air hose. Once it starts, it may be a little bit loud, so don't need to do a lot of talking. I'm just going to show you with my hand first the action and how it works, and then I'm going to use it like I would in the home. For this purpose I use a ladder, but you could have a clamp that clamps to a door or a countertop, depending on the area that you want to treat. One thing I did during the demonstration was I cranked up the pressure to about 65 psi. It got pretty intense. It was too much for my neck. But when I dropped the pressure down to 35 to 40 psi, it got really comfortable, and it felt very similar to the therapist sitting there kneading and working that little knot in the subject tendon. So I'm pretty happy with this for home use. It's a bit bulky. I'm looking for a way to miniaturize it. Again, maybe there's an electric air hammer out there that you can have a variable speed with, and then that would be a little easier on the treatment table to work without having a hose or anything like that. And that is it in a nutshell.